Durag Diaries. Is the deal delayed or is the deal off? What is going on currently with Tottenham Hotspur and this Morgan Gibbs-White deal? It looks like Nottingham Forest have proceeded with putting in the complaint regarding how Spurs have found out about this secret release clause, which doesn't make any sense. Let's have it right. Why is a release clause secret? If a club puts a release clause in a deal, then quite clearly they're happy to let a player go for that price or that's in the release clause. You wouldn't put that in the contract otherwise. So what it seems like has happened, and as we're seeing here, the Athletic have reported that Nottingham Forest are not naive to how transfers materialize, but given Tottenham offered the exact amount required to trigger Morgan Gibbs-White release clause, and they say the exact amount required, which shouldn't be a problem. We paid exactly what you wanted, and you're complaining. We already knew that Marinakis was greedy by looking at his belly, but now we know that he's really greedy with the glutton that he's showing in this deal. They are questioning how confidential contractual details were breached. Nottingham Forest do not want to be seen to allow their most influential player to leave easily. So what this seems like it really is, it's a dick measuring contest. But you can't dick measure when your thing's this small and you can't keep up with a club like mine. Nottingham Forest is a feeder club to clubs like mine. You feed even West Ham and so on. You are a feeder club. Know your place. When a big team comes in to get your players, we take them. We saw the video of Wolfie trying to laugh, trying to clown us for this deal, trying to clown us and say, will he even go Tottenham Hotspur? Who's laughing now? The player's going to force a move out if you take any longer. This doesn't look good for Nottingham Forest whatsoever. Spurs have offered the money they want, the deal for the price and the amount of money that they wanted. The deal was pretty much done. Medical was going to happen. Player was happy. Club should have been happy. But now they're trying to get a few extra million out. And the worst thing about this is Nottingham Forest have just been promoted to the Europa League. They've just been promoted to the Europa League. So they've benefited off the fact that they were doing some dodgy business with Booty Fago, because it's also convenient how Crystal Palace's owner, who sold his shares, John Textor, is also an owner for Lyon, who's also an owner for Botafogo, where they signed 2 players from this summer already, whilst they've also put in bids for players like Malik Fofana from Lyon. So Nottingham Forest are quite literally funding Lyon's way to not get relegated out of Ligue 1, which they were successful with. They're also successful with staying in the Europa League. They helped them balance the sheets. And now, of course, you can already see that there is some sports washing going on here. Even Nottingham Forest sold a player to Lyon. They were moving Matt Turner. Who's going to pay money for him? They sold a player to them this summer already. So you know Nottingham Forest are doing some greedy business, but they're really being greedy out here, trying to get a few extra million for Tottenham in this deal. But the latest news and the reports that are coming out from the Tottenham side of things, Alistair Gold has said in a recent podcast, basically stating that the current feeling around Morgan Gibbs-White transfer is that Forest may only succeed in delaying the move rather than preventing it. So it really looks like that the deal is going to go ahead. And that's where my head is at. I think this deal is going to happen. This deal will go ahead. But what Nottingham Forest are doing now is just making themselves look really bad in the public eye. Marinakis already has a bad relationship with the FA and the Premier League for some of the actions he had last year, including spitting on the floor in front of a referee where he tried to say it was an accident or he didn't mean to do it. So you know that this guy is up to no good business already. But now he's trying to ruin the transfer of one of his star players to go and move on to a bigger, better club. You're playing Europa League next year. We are playing Champions League. This is a very, very obvious choice, and it only makes sense why he wants to make this move. So keep delaying what you want, but this still looks like it's going to happen. So do not panic, Spurs fans. Don't panic. I know in my last video, the question was, is the deal off? I don't think the deal is off. I think the deal is just delayed. So we're just going to have to wait a second, be a bit more patient. We already didn't really expect Spurs to get 2 deals done in 2 days. And look, it didn't happen in the end, but the adrenaline pump that it gained from us and just that little dump started to feel like how Chelsea fans feel. There's just a transfer, then a transfer, and it's like, yo, the club is making moves and business. So that feeling was nice, but because it is Spurs, there's always some type of, somehow, some way, it's going to mess up. And that seems to be what is happening at this current moment. But I have no doubt in my mind that this deal will eventually get done. But big up to everyone that's tuned in to another episode of Durag Diaries. Make sure you are smashing the like button on this video. Make sure you've got the post notifications on. Stay up to date with all transfer news. And we are on the road to 5K. We're 50 away from 2.9, 150 away from 3K. So we've nearly hit our next goal. Can we do it? Make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend. Subscribe to your boy Durag Diaries. Until next time, I am